Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over some things that we're doing for upgrades today on our 91 Land Cruiser. As you can see already, I've got lights installed on the hood that we're working on wiring up. Also going to add a bar on the bumper that's going to have a 24-inch light LED on there. We're also replacing these cheesy off-road lights that somebody else put on there with a 32-inch LED bar. And also on the back of the rack here, I've got two more spots we're going to put on the corners to help us for visibility at night. And those are all going to get wired up inside the Land Cruiser. So here's the armrest that I've taken out of the Land Cruiser so far, and I'm removing the coin slots that holds the coins that are pretty much useless to begin with. And I am grinding one side here down and the bottom down, and that will allow me to add my switch in here for the spots. So as you can see, they'll fit right in. So we're going to have four of them. We're going to have the spots on the hood. There's going to be spots for the bumper, spots for the roof rack, and then spots for the rear lights. I'm also adding a accessory fuse block into it. So I'll have one hot line coming into here, and then this will have its own fuse for all the accessories. That'll also include any USB hookups we have, GPS, the GoPro for future videos. Also, we're going to have the CB radio wired into that as well. So stay tuned. Alright, let me just show you what I've been working on here for the last little bit. So I wired up the plugs. These switches came with wires already ready for them with the tails. So all I had to do is make a lead like here to go into where I plug it in here. And then I have it wrapped around, and I made a hole. You can see it. Made a hole down there for the wires to come through. So I'm actually going to mount my fuse block down in there like so. And I'm thinking about putting a false bottom in there yet, but we'll see how that comes out yet. If not, we just won't utilize this box. We weren't really using it anyways. So I'm going to have my ground wire to the fuse block come back out through and mount that down to the frame, so I don't have to trace that all the way back to the battery. And then there's another hole in the back where all the hot wire will come in, and probably run all the hot wires to the fuse block that need to be done through that hole too. But we're still mocking it up. We're still working through it all. We'll see what happens here once. But just want to give you guys an update on where I'm at and what's going on, and see how it's working. Well, I thought I'd give everybody a rundown on where we're at right now. So far I've got my front bumper light bar on with the light, and it's all wired in, as you can see. We snaked everything through this port back here. Found it goes through the firewall behind the glove box inside. I've got my hood lights wired in. I got some brackets I'm going to put on the hood yet to hold those wires in place so we don't have a problem. So I snaked the wires up through here, up under this channel here, and then this piece actually comes loose a little bit, and there's enough room to get two wires in there. That's what I did here, and you can see up here where they are. And so I wired in the light bar here, and I'm going to zip tie my wires up there and run them around back. Those are actually going to be two separate switches inside the cab for these lights and the light bar. All my grounding is going to be done on my bars. So I'm going to ground out here. So you can see inside here, this is where all my wires come through. It's kind of a mess. It kind of looks like that. Excuse the mess inside the cruiser too, because it's a mess. But when I put back the center consoles in place, all those wires will be hidden. So I'll have all those wires underneath the consoles and tucked away and wired in. So stay tuned. So here's the finished product. Switches in, consoles all back in with the CB in place. Everything all tucked in there. I'm still thinking about putting a false bottom in there to push those wires down and still be able to use my cubby here. I did run another wire up here because I plan on putting a USB strip in the dash and putting a hole up here to run all my electronics, GPS, cell phones, whatever else I might want to run down through the future. All the lights wires have been zip tied up. Everything works, tested everything. Now the biggest thing is just getting everything sighted in so it's not pointing at the sky or dead at the ground. Under the hood, I got everything buttoned up here. Yeah, it looks like a little weird with all the wires coming out, but I think it's pretty watertight through that grommet. You can see where my wires all go, and I tucked them up here, so they should be all set to go there. I am planning on getting a bigger battery here in the near future. Right now I got some cables on there. This battery kind of got shot over the winter, so the plan is to get a bigger battery to hold some more juice to it. The other thing I'm in the works of doing is working on replacing the alternator, but I also took the smog pump out and purchased a kit to eliminate the smog pump, and it's going to eliminate all the EGR stuff. I'm still in the works of doing that. Got to get some belts, different size belts for this that I got them on order today, so I can get that all back together. Moved the CB antenna to come through here, and I made a bracket for that because I had a hard time finding a bracket I liked. So I'm going to get some plastic dip stuff to finish my bracket there and make it look a little bit nicer. I used to have the antenna up top there, and I broke one already, and this one's getting close to getting hit too. The top's already busted off. It was just too darn tall for when we were slashing through the woods there, so I wanted to get it down, and I secured it here so it's all set to go. Do a little more walk around here a second so you guys can see the rig. Still some work in progress, but it's getting there. I'm working on, I want to get a double den radio in here to replace that one, so everything's kind of secured up a little bit better. I still have to glue my switches in here too. You see them kind of popping around. I do want to get some glue to fix that, and I'm going to do that yet. I do have some Max Tracks that I picked up over the winter. Gonna figure out how to get those mounted. I want to mount those on the side brackets yet. Mount those up here somewhere. I'd like to mount those on one side and probably a shovel and axe on the other side. Still would like to get a high lift as well to mount somewhere. The biggest problem I'm having right now is when I purchased my cruiser, it's missing a bracket here, like this one. Man, those things are expensive to come by, and usually you got to buy a set of two or a set of four, and they're pricey. So still trying to figure out a solution for that, how to fix that problem without costing me an arm and a leg there. Really think you shouldn't be that big of a deal, but yeah, she's definitely our toy. Plans for this summer yet is I would like to line exit yet somehow. I might just do it myself. Seen a lot of guys do that, so I'm thinking about doing that, cleaning it up a little bit that way. Somebody tried to do some on the bottom there, a little rough, didn't cure it real well, so gonna come back through and probably sand some of that stuff down. Another thing I found when I was mounting the light on the bumper there, the bumper's actually only held on with 2 bolts, so I got to get under there yet and secure that bumper better. I was putting that bar on, the bumper fell right off in my hands. It was attached yet, but it flipped right forward, so I need to work on that a little. So she's dirty from last fall because, like I said, the battery went south on it, so I didn't get a chance to get it washed up after the battery went bad. So that's little plans for this year, but yep, she's a toy. And that's what she is. You know, we do drive it from time to time as a daily driver, but right now we're not. Right now we're just trying to spend some time fixing it up the way we want it so we can enjoy it this summer. Our goal is to have it ready for Silver Lake for April 4th. That's coming up in a hurry, so trying to spend much time as I can while it's nice outside and get her going. So I hope you enjoyed this DIY video here. It's the first one I'm kind of doing here to try it out and see how it works and see what kind of audience I get. And remember, if you like what you see, like and subscribe.